Hey all, DT Neal back again talking about science fiction and storytelling. Picking up where I left off about Farther, my book of deep space exploration and science fiction cosmic horror. You know, the main character of it is Ford Collins, he is a leading Terranaut, and his particular team has a very good track record, but he's got grave concerns about what he's doing with regard to this program, because he's seen this ongoing colonization of space entirely in the interests of commerce, interplanetary commerce, interstellar commerce, and these planets that are basically company planets. You know, you've heard of company towns. Well, these are like company planets, and he's got concerns about that. And you know, I don't embrace the trope of that sort of uncertainty about like advancement in science, where people say, "Oh, we took a step too far and now we're in trouble." I don't like that. I think narratively that's not a great way to go. Personally, I always believe that progress is attainable and people should branch out. Um, but there is an aspect of that in Farther that is still present, because in the character of Ford and his team, where they encounter something out there in the Andromeda Galaxy. In that sense, what I did again, once you land, once the conduit opens, the Terranauts go through, based on the direction of Ali, the AI, and then the portal will close because it's incredibly energy intensive to keep it open. So they basically open it, you go through, they close it, and then with the understanding that that'll open again at a particular period of time, and they have their mission parameters to meet uh, in those intervening times. And once you're there for a Terranaut, once you're on that world, whatever that world is, which has again by at least been preliminarily surveyed by Ali, um, you're on your own. And I worked really hard to convey that sense of just alien and alienation of someone being there in this case another galaxy, which at the time of the story is the farthest anyone's traveled, hence Farther. That's the namesake and the title of it. uh, and when things start coming off, when things start falling off the wagon, if you will, uh, they it's just them, that they are left to their own devices, these people, literally and figuratively. And the Terranauts have to solve a problem with the understanding that there is no one there to save them. There's no one there to help them. It is on them. And how those characters respond to those challenges as presented is the core of that story. And I was really pleased at how Farther worked out. And again, I won't spoil anything, but I think that it at least to my satisfaction, I think it did bridge that gap between the sort of hard science fiction, space exploration, space empire ideas with the very social, personal ramifications of particular ideas, and how they affect humans, and how they interact and their place in the universe. So it can be done, I think, and I think it needs to be done, because once again, it's all too easy to embrace the technological triumphs and think that those are going to solve things on their own just because of the virtue of the technical and technological prowess. Um, but the philosophy, it's kind of like when people talk about STEAM education, and they don't emphasize the arts. They're really more into STEM than STEAM, right? They want the nuts and bolts, but they don't want that art aspect of it. They don't want the humanities to come into it. And I think that's a real problem. That the humanities, what it means to be human, uh, is actually incredibly important in science fiction. And science fiction writers have addressed that. I just don't think it's percolated into the larger pop culture mindset, which I think presents problems, because people's antiquated notions of what humanity is and is not, or could be and could not be, can be problematic. And I think there's a benefit for readers to explore those kind of stories with that in mind. And of course, with my own bias, I think mine does a good job with that. So farther, I'm absolutely promoting my work, but if I don't, who will, right? So just something to think about.